Now, I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm not some sort of expert on Iran. I'm still learning what the heck is going on over there. But these clips, they wild. Trump's out here sending a final warning, and then boom, CNN drops this stat. Iran shuts down the internet, and I found out 43 Americans are already dead. Nah, y'all got to help me break this down because something doesn't add up.
And overall, I feel like there's more support for Donald Trump's positions than is comically acknowledged. Oppose Iran getting a nuclear weapon. I mean, look at this. 79% of adults agree on that. They agree with Donald Trump. Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon. 83% of Republicans, 79% of independents, 79% of Democrats. When you get 79% of Democrats and 83% of Republicans agreeing on anything, you know that that position is the very clear majority in this country. And so the American public is with Donald Trump. They definitely oppose Iran getting nuclear weapons.
So this is a nuance here, but, Trump and Netanyahu both arguing that Iran is close to being capable of making a nuclear weapon. If that is the case, what is the feeling of Americans as to whether the United States should get involved in this conflict?
Right. If you buy Donald Trump's theory of the case, and I think that's important to note, this is polling from April. If Iran's trying to make a nuclear weapon, look at this. Overall, you get the slight plurality. I mean, it's within the margin of error, but the slight plurality of Americans actually favor U.S. airstrikes compared to 47% opposing it. Now, here's the other nugget I'll note, right? There's been a lot of talk online and on social media and in podcasts of a divide within the Republican ranks. But here on this question, if Iran's trying to make a nuclear weapon, look at that. 69% of Republicans, the clear vast majority of Republicans, favor U.S. airstrikes on Iran, on their nuclear facilities. But there is this substantial minority, 27%, who oppose such an idea. So it's not surprising you're hearing those other voices besides Donald Trump out there. There are plenty of them in the Republican ranks who oppose the U.S. striking Iran if they're trying to make a nuclear weapon. But the clear majority of Republicans are with Donald Trump. If, in fact, Iran is trying to make nuclear weapons, they do, in fact, potentially favor U.S. airstrikes.
So let me get this straight. Both Republicans and Democrats agree Iran shouldn't have nukes. 83% on the right, 70% or 79%, I'm sorry, on the left. And CNN, I love when they have to drop the stats. It's more than a poll. That's a moment of clarity. Somebody added in the comments, okay, but why does 20% of America want them to have nukes? Yeah, man, that number is bad. And if you thought that number, well, that stat right there is bad, I want you to watch what they quietly admit next.
October 7th, 2023, Hamas attacked Israel. Who is the primary funder of Hamas?
Senator, it is Iran.
And who is the primary sponsor then that provides them with the weapons that they use to attack Israel?
Same answer, ma'am.
And maybe our public is not aware, but 43 Americans lost their lives on October 7th at the hands of Hamas, which is an Iran-backed terrorist organization. 43 Americans. We never talk about it, folks. I heard nothing about this in the Biden administration. So when there is question about whether it's appropriate for America to be engaged in the Middle East in defending Americans that live and work abroad, I think there's our answer.
43 American lives gone. And from what she's saying, or from what I gather from the verbiage that she put together, not military, but civilians killed in an attack by Hamas. And who backed Hamas? I'm learning today, Iran. And according to her, when you try to bring it up, they change the subject. I'm just now hearing about this story. Why haven't we seen this on major headlines? Because if roles were reversed, this would be nonstop coverage. And just when you think the silence couldn't get louder, Iran cuts the entire internet.
So on June 18th of 2025, reports confirmed that Iran was experiencing a near total national internet blackout, severely limiting connectivity across the country. This incident followed a series of partial internet disruptions and coincided with the escalating military tensions with Israel, marked by days of mutual missile strikes back and forth. The blackout was reported first by a group called NetBlocks on X, which is a group that monitors global internet connectivity, and they noted a significant reduction in internet traffic, likely restricting public access to information during a critical period. Iran's cyber authority attributed the outages to a large-scale cyber attack that was allegedly launched by Israel amid claims of heightened regional conflict. Now, the post I'm referring to by NetBlocks says, confirmed, live network data shows Iran is now in the midst of a near-total national internet blackout. The incident follows a series of earlier partial disruptions and comes amid escalating military tensions with Israel after days of back-and-forth missile strikes. Now, Iran's government has a history of restricting internet access during times of unrest or conflict, notably in the 2019 mass protests that they had in the country. The current blackout was described as a measure to counter foreign cyber attacks, although it limited civilians' ability to communicate or access external information. Even tools like WhatsApp or VPNs were reportedly heavily affected, exacerbating the isolation of Iran's population.
A whole country goes dark. Internet is gone. WhatsApp blocked. I think he mentioned something about VPNs. Useless. And right now it's been alleged that this is a cyber attack. So I'm saying, nah, it's control of some sort. And they're trying to hit the panic mode in some way. You only shut down your own people like that when you're hiding the truth or expecting something big, if that is the case. Now, what's even crazier, the people defending this kind of madness online. Just wait until you watch this clip.
I can't stop thinking about the way that
Sorry in advance.
colonization is in its reckoning period across so much of West Africa and Central Africa. We're seeing coups and we're seeing uprisings. And, you know, I'm not an expert on the politics of Israel and Palestine, but it is also deeply unsurprising to me seeing what's happening in Palestine. Because everyone is acting, like some people are acting confused, and the instinct here, given the complexity, is to see things in terms of this is horrific, what's happened to Israel. But when you all examined colonization and decolonizing, what did you actually think that would look like? Like, for real, it is so interesting watching people comment on this. And it's like this visual struggle of respectability politics and the way that there should be a diplomatic solution. And when you are violently oppressed for that long, what do you think the uprising against your oppressors looks like? And I say this as a white person living in colonized Australia on stolen land. Like, some of you all need a bit of a reality check, I think. Because, like, what did you think was going to happen? What did you think breaking free of colonial oppressors' chains looked like? Anyway, can't stop thinking about it.
Couldn't believe this. This is an older clip. But you got people out here defending rape, murder, calling it decolonization like it's deep. That ain't activism. This right here is insanity. They've been brainwashed into defending evil. And most don't even realize it. I remember when I finally realized it, boy, was that moment a harsh reality for me. But now let's take a look at how Even our own politicians justify this madness. From the Bible to the battlefield. Recently, Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson went head to head.
Okay. And the reason is twofold. Number one, as a Christian, growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my. You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. But so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it. And you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology. I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what, hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yet nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants
God's
of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
And by the way, it's not run by Benjamin Netanyahu as a dictator. It's a democratic country that elected.
He's the prime minister.
Right.
What?
But just like, America is the country run by Donald Trump. No, actually, the American people elected Donald Trump. The same principle
This is silly. I'm talking about the political entity of modern Israel.
Yes, and that is
You believe
Israel.
That's what God was talking about in Genesis.
I do, but
that country's existed since when?
For thousands of years. Now, there was a time when it didn't exist, and then it was recreated just over 70 years ago.
I'm saying, I think most people understand that line in Genesis to refer to the Jewish people, God's chosen people.
That's not what it says.
Okay, Israel, but you don't even know where in the Bible it is. So I don't know if we can...
I don't remember the scriptural citation. But, okay,
It's like Genesis 16 or something like that. But yes, it's in the earlier part of the book. But the point is...
All right, Tucker, you keep interrupting me before I finish my sentence.
It's just important to know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're... So you're saying as a Christian, if I believe in Jesus, I have to support the modern state of Israel?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm explaining for me what my motivation is.
But okay, so I'm just trying to understand. You said God tells you to support the modern state of Israel in the Bible, in some place in the Bible that you heard about, but you don't know where it is. That's your theology?
You're going back, am I a sleazy feline again? I mean,
if you accuse me of anti-Semitism again, I will say that, but I don't think you will.
Now, these are two people whom I've admired these last couple of years, and to watch them clash like this is obviously like, this is what the left loves to see. I'm glad London Wood asks, Groke, is this in the Bible? And it says the Bible does not explicitly command Christians to support the modern state of Israel. Genesis 12:1-3, often cited, promises blessings for those who bless Abraham's descendants, interpreted by some as Israel. Many evangelicals see this as a call to support Israel, citing covenant, theology, or prophecy. Others argue it refers to spiritual blessings through Jesus, not political support. Views vary widely, shaped by theology and denomination. No clear mandate exists, and interpretations depend on individual belief. Now, this got interesting. Obviously, Tucker challenged Ted Cruz on why he rides so hard for Israel, and Cruz pulled the Bible card, but couldn't name the verse. Thought that was interesting. I'm not saying don't believe it for yourself. I mean, you could interpret it. I'm just saying, don't start wars off with vague verses you can't even remember, man. You can't even cite, bro. But while, they're over there fumbling some scripture, Trump's out here getting calls from Iran. Like, it's a business negotiation.
Contributed to that change, how you got to where you are in making your decision now?
Well, I think it started the first night. I mean, that first night was devastating. And it really knocked the one side off, as you know. It was a devastating evening, day. And it pretty much proceeded that way. I have a meeting in the war room in a little while. Situation room, as some people call it. So we're going to meet. We're going to see. We're in the midst of it's a terrible thing. I hate to see it. I hate to see all that death, so much death and destruction. But death primarily is what I hate to see.
Does that mean you haven't made a decision yet on what to do?
I have ideas as to what to do, but I haven't made a final. I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change. I mean, especially with war. Things change with war. It can go from one extreme to the other. War is very bad. There was no reason for this to be a war. There was no reason for Russia, Ukraine. A lot of wars there was no reason for. You look right up there, I don't know, see the Declaration of Independence, and I say, I wonder if the Civil War, it always seemed to me maybe that could have been solved without losing 600,000 plus people.
Yeah. My fault. President Trump says I wants to meet him in the White House, and he might let them. Yeah, this felt like a movie line, man. Because he telling them basically it's too late. This means somebody blinked, and it wasn't him. Still trying to understand all this, y'all. Somebody says, got to be honest, I don't like the idea of Iran coming to the White House. It makes me worry for Trump's safety and also for the White House. If they're the ones calling now, then that tells you who's really nervous. But the way he followed it up, that's what has everybody on edge.
Facilities. Where's your mindset on that?
I can't say that, right? You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that way. Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we can be there and watch? I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country. It's very sad to watch this. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's so. Everyone thought it was going to be the reverse. I didn't think so. And I was telling them, you gotta do something. You gotta negotiate. And at the end, last minute, they said, no, we're not going to do that, and they got hit. Remember 60 days, and then came the 60. 61 is going to become a very famous number. That was one hell of a hit. That first hit, that was one hell of a hit. Not sustainable, to be honest. That's where it ended on the first night. Yes.
Man, this right here is why they hate him. The whole I may do it, I may not do it line. Well, I'm looking, that seems like leverage. He ain't got to scream. He ain't got to yell. You just got to keep him guessing. But what nobody told you is he already signed a plan. And what he did next actually says everything.
Look, they should have made the deal. I had a great deal for them. They should have made that deal. 60 days we talked about it. And in the end, they decided not to do it. And now they wish they did it. And they want to meet. But it's a little late to meet, but they want to meet. And they want to come to the White House. They'll even come to the White House. So we'll see. I may do that, but it's a shame it could have been done the easy way. Look, they should have made.
Just reading a few comments here. It's not normal for a president to announce or declare his intentions when it comes to going after an enemy. Colin Rugg responded, which is why I think the White House purposely leaked this. Someone else says he has given them one chance after another. Colin Rugg doubled down by saying, I feel like this is a strategic leak. I'm going to read one more from Doge AI, actually. Iran crossed every red line, enriching uranium at weapons-grade levels while stonewalling inspectors. Diplomacy isn't weakness. It's strategic patience before enforcing consequences. The regime had years to abandon nuke ambitions, but chose escalation. Now they face a simple choice: halt enrichment, or face obliteration. Israel's rising lion strikes proved, how you say that, Tehran's facilities are untouchable. Trump's posture, maximum pressure, zero illusions. No more negotiations with a theocracy that funds terror and lies to the, IAEA? I don't know what that is. Deterrence only works when threats are credible. The facts behind global response. Okay, so yeah, then he dropped the link, but yeah, this is the moment I knew this wasn't hype. Trump approved the attack plan. He literally signed it off, and seems like he held back on the order. Some could call it a weakness, can look at this like weakness, or it can be restraint under pressure. That's another perspective. If that's the case, that's real. Real rare. Really, really rare. But while Trump's holding fire, guess who's been playing dirty behind the scenes this whole time?
Y'all, I'm calling on the FBI to not just talk about it, but do something about it. Iran literally stole information from the Trump campaign and gave it to the Biden-Harris campaign. Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do you see this right here? Iran has literally been stealing information from Trump and giving it to the Biden and Harris campaign. And what is the FBI going to do about it? Don't just talk about it, do something about it. Because if it was the other way around, we would not hear the end of it. So Iran has literally been colluding with Biden and Kamala Harris. And the FBI better do something about it. The Republicans that are in Congress better do something about it. Biden and Kamala Harris, they need to answer. Because don't even say they didn't know. You can't tell me they did not know who was giving them information. Oh, they know. Man. They are literally in the White House. They know every damn thing. So something better happen. Because what they did to Donald Trump over that Russia crap, when he didn't even collude with Russia, and they went on and on and on with it. Come on, y'all. They better do something. FBI, don't just talk about it. Do something about it right damn now.
Yeah, man. Now, this is straight up wild. This is news that dropped September of last year, but this is all helping me kind of put some of the pieces together. That BI said Iranian hackers stole from the Trump campaign and gave it to Biden's people. Stole info from Trump's campaign, that is. And I don't remember hearing a lot about this. Could be, though. I can be completely honest. That could be attributed to the fact that I wasn't really made aware and didn't have my understanding as to what it is now. Well, up until now, rather. But yeah, flip the names and the whole country would be in flames. But because it's Biden, I'm sure, it was silence. And if that doesn't make you or your stomach turn, listen to what they say Biden's been planning to do the whole time. And while we are grateful that Kamala did not win.
We cannot let Harrison waltz into the White House after November. We are hurting as a country. We have historic inflation. We have real historic debt. And New York Times just published today that Biden, or whomever is around Biden, has been working very hard to prepare our country for nuclear war with Russia. China and Iran. This is no joke. We cannot have individuals who are making a mockery of democracy running this country. We cannot have unserious individuals in the White House right now. We have to have people who really understand the dignity of life and sovereign liberty running this country, not ones that are throwing around these communist notions like they're no biggie. These are big deals. Famine under communist regimes kills more people than the Hiroshima bomb did. So this is not a joke. We are not a vanity campaign. We're not a spoiler campaign. We went into this campaign to win.
Yeah.
And we looked at the numbers, we ran the models, and we could win. If this were a fair and free election, we would win in November, without doubt. 71% of Americans want a viable third-party option, and we delivered it.
Yes.
51% of Americans in the recent Gallup poll are registered as unaffiliated independents.
Look, Nicole Shanahan, I believe this is Shanahan. Well, she said the Biden camp had, when it was in office, had been prepping us for a nuclear war with Iran, China, and Russia. That wasn't about peace at all, from what I'm gathering. And they wasn't even going to try to warn us. They were setting us up to be blindsided from what's coming to me here. Look, I still don't know everything. I don't know. But I know a setup when I see one. Blackouts, ignore deaths, quietly preps for war. Or did, at least. Trump might have just sent the final warning, but I think we need to send one back. We're not falling for it this time. Y'all stay sharp. Thank y'all for all the birthday wishes and all the love. Has been overwhelming. I couldn't be more grateful. Yes, I'm enjoying my day. I'm over here about to get ready for dinner. Probably crank out another video before I go, though. And, spending my birthday with y'all is a gift. Being able to wake up and upload and share my thoughts and know that y'all tune in, that's a blessing and a birthday gift in itself. So I'm grateful today. Don't get confused about my tone or my posture right now. I'm just on my, what you want to call it, Luther Vandross, trying to keep it all, Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.